Everyone has heard of Moscow, but what does life look like far away from the capital? To be more exact, 9,288 kilometers away by train. Vladivostok is one of the most difficult cities to reach from Moscow, because the train takes about a week and the flight takes around 8 hours. For us, it's much easier to go to China. In just 3-4 hours by bus you can reach the border, and a flight to the Chinese capital takes only about 3 hours. And now we have a 1-month visa-free entry to China, so it's quite obvious which travel destination is popular here. Another option to travel to Pyongyang. Why not? Overall, this region is quite connected with Asia in many aspects of life. You can feel it everywhere. In the food, the street art, the culture, the cars, and since I mentioned cars, let's start with that. Because we live close to Japan and Korea, cars from these countries are very popular here. Vladivostok actually has one of the highest car-to-population ratios in Russia, and almost every family owns a vehicle. So even though Vladivostok ranks only 26th in Russia by population, about 594,000 people, the traffic jams here are almost like in Moscow, and it becomes even crazier when it's snowy. At this time, it's better to stay at home or go on foot. It's usually faster. While most of Russia drives left-hand cars, here in this region people mostly drive right-hand ones, since most cars come from Japan. Nowadays Chinese cars are also trying to take their place in the market, but most people still prefer Japanese ones, as they have proven their reliability. And seeing a Soviet Zhiguli or a Russian Lada here is really rare, I would say almost exclusive. You might wonder, what about the sanctions? Did they stop importing cars from Japan and Korea? Actually no, it just changed the way cars are brought in. Vladivostok is also called the gateway to Asia, and as I said, life here is closely connected to this continent. From the number of Asian tourists to local companies that mostly trade with Japan, Korea, and especially China. Because of that, popular jobs here include logistics, international trade managers, and other related fields. Many of them require knowledge of the Chinese language. So, learning Chinese is quite common here. And you won't really impress anyone by speaking this exotic language anymore. The time difference with capital is as much as 7 hours. When Moscow is just waking up, it's already evening here. Life can feel distant and disconnected from the country's center, so we live on our own schedule. The cost of living here is cheaper than in Moscow, but not as low as in central Russia. And when I lived in Moscow in 2021, I found that price for many products like yogurt, sweets and so on were even lower, probably due to logistics. And when people come to this region from central Russia, they experience a bit of culture shock of the price. Another aspect that many people, especially the older generation, don't like about this city is the hills. The city is built entirely on hills, and the roads are always going up and down, which can be physically uncomfortable for some. But I personally like it. To me, it looks more charming and you can enjoy the city view from many angles. And you can train your legs and glutes every day just by walking, without spending money on a gym. It gets even more adventurous when it snows, and then it's mild, and the next day it freezes and turns into a slide. Going uphill is a real challenge, but going downhill is easy. You can basically just skate. Fortunately for many locals, and unfortunately for people like me who love snow, this kind of weather has become less and less frequent every year. Winters here are mostly sunny without snow, with grey streets, and the temperature often doesn't go above -15. But the issue is, when it's winter, it's often windy, and combined with the humidity, it feels much colder. And the wind here can be really strong sometimes. It can literally blow you away, especially if you weigh less than 50 kilograms. So winter is the time when the whole city slows down. Streets get quiet, people prefer to stay home, and life feels a bit frozen compared to summer. And by spring the city completely comes back to life. It turns from grey and quiet into bright and colorful. Street cafes open and music fills the air. The most active season here is of course summer. Kids and adults are on vacation, everyone goes out for walks, and there are a lot of tourists. All the popular spots get loud and crowded. For me, the nicest season is now, the autumn. It's not too hot, not too cold, and still sunny. And there are fewer people, especially starting from October. But what most people definitely adore here is the nature. The nature is pure, wild, and dramatic. You live here surrounded by two different worlds. On one side is the ocean, powerful, unpredictable, reminding you who is in charge, yet calming at the same time. The smell of the sea in the air, the sound of seagulls, the fog rolling in from the water, it's both lonely and beautiful. And that's exactly what makes it so special. Living here means being constantly connected to this energy. On the other side, the forest stretched beyond the horizon, beautiful, mysterious, and full of life. It's a place where you feel peaceful but small, an uninvited guest in the world of the other creatures, where the proud and main resident is the Amur tiger, the largest cat in the world. Living here means being deeply connected to this Mother Nature, which makes up for all the disadvantages. It always calls me back whenever I leave. If you like this video, I recommend watching my other related videos where I share more detailed information about life here. I've left links in the info cards. Bye!